When the four heavenly kings were preparing to combine and attack the Monkey King, Sunny used his hair to cover the entire arena. This was his hair dome. This wasn't to cut off his own retreat, but to prevent those outside the dome from seeing the battle situation. Even before entering the battle, they had planned that this battle absolutely could not be seen by anyone. The Monkey King still maintained his wide grin. He danced and gestured with his hands. When the four heavenly kings charged, he agilely extended his hand. He won this round of rock paper scissors. The four heavenly kings didn't expect to lose a round right after entering the arena. But it didn't matter, as long as they didn't make a mistake when the Monkey King pointed. All four simultaneously and in unison turned their heads, successfully winning the first trial round. The Monkey King's eyes shone brightly. Although Toriko was prepared to be knee-locked, the Monkey King was still extremely surprised. It seems to be more interesting than the previous round. The four and the monkey swayed freely. Toriko started with a loud shout, "Take this!" The four immediately leaned on each other, directing their knees towards the Monkey King. Bambina still grinned, dodging their knee attacks. After the surprise attack, it was Zebra's turn to arm wrestle with the Monkey King. At this time, Zebra and the other three were completely synchronized in rhythm. So when Bambina pulled him down, everyone fell with him. Zebra immediately got up, bouncing away a distance. After the previous exchange, they had completely understood the true nature of the imbue dance. The Monkey King played the same game 2 or 3 times, first rock paper scissors, then point and look, followed by knee lock and arm wrestling. Regarding whether this was a coincidence or some strange pattern, the four heavenly kings had formed a hypothesis. That was 3 days ago, when they first started practicing imbue. Coco told everyone to watch him write with poison, and also told Zebra to make everyone's voices gloomy. Even without saying it, everyone understood. Coco didn't want this content to be heard by anyone. After preparing for security, Coco explained, "A few days ago, when Kaka took us to visit the ruins of civilization, I coincidentally saw some murals. Because I sensed strong electromagnetic waves, I specifically investigated. As soon as I entered, I saw murals everywhere. A large number of murals covered an entire wall, depicting 2 ape-like creatures posing like martial artists. Of course, they could also be seen as 2 monkeys playing. At that time, I didn't feel anything strange, but now that I think about it, the first few paintings were exactly the movements the Monkey King performed in that 0.1 second. Hearing this, the other 3 were startled. Coco seems to be talking about some terrifying secret. Coco continued, "Before Toriko and the Monkey King arm wrestled, the reason I could react instantly and create the poisonous doll was because I had seen those paintings. That greatly influenced my divination ability. Was that really the Monkey King's game? Was it really rock paper scissors, knee lock, and arm wrestling? For that reason, I made a bold hypothesis: the so-called imbue dance performed by the Monkey King is actually a dance with fixed postures. Simply put, imbue is the dance the Monkey King uses to perform the monkey dance." The four heavenly kings thought, could it be that the dance drawn on that mural is the Monkey King's true goal? Meaning, that's the real way to get pair? On this, Coco couldn't confirm, but this hypothesis was worth trying. He remembered the last mural depicting everyone happily eating. Sunny quickly asked Coco how many murals there were. Coco said there were nearly 1,000 in total. Some were damaged and incomplete, but he clearly remembered the complete ones. Indeed, Coco has a superhuman memory and a meticulous mind. This is truly hitting multiple targets with one arrow. But just remembering the murals wasn't enough, they had to keep up with the Monkey King's rhythm. Dancing with the Monkey King? What kind of strange and unbelievable maneuver is this? Moreover, the Monkey King performed nearly 10 paintings in just 0.1 seconds. So, completing all 1,000 paintings would only take 10 seconds. That means one must be proficient in imbue to do it. If this was truly the way to get pair, it was more torturous than a regular fight. And this absolutely could not be known by that person. Coco had already sensed that something was off with Kaka, so he had already initiated a contingency plan, preventing Kaka from knowing how to capture pair. Therefore, Komatsu could be safely transferred. At this moment, Kaka could only grit his teeth, raging in vain. 3 days later, the four heavenly kings intensified their training, striving to perform each movement in every painting in a neat and unified manner. To put it bluntly, this dance troupe of 4 brothers had started working. And now, after the first trial, they confirmed that the direction of their efforts over the past 3 days was correct. Zebra told them to look closely. The Monkey King's balls seemed to be getting bigger. The plump, elastic balls glowed with a strange luster. No, looking from a broader perspective, it seemed the Monkey King's entire body had grown larger. The suppressed power also slowly swelled up. Hurry up! Just 10 seconds to finish the dance. Come here, Monkey King. Come on, let's dance the mad imbue dance. With Pear's bell sound, no other accompaniment is needed. Although the group had begun to dance in sync with their feelings, the first step was rock paper scissors. Point where you look, and twist. Even though Zebra's expression and body were stiff, his movements were barely correct. As they swayed more, they began to find the rhythm. Their faces brightened, and they seemed to grow happier with each move. "Oh, you guys, stop fighting. If you want to fight, go duel like warriors." The four of them danced rhythmically within view. Fortunately, all four were dancing together. If it were one-on-one, it would likely be impossible to dance this dance with the Monkey King. Even if it was just dancing, no single one of the four Heavenly Kings could withstand the Monkey King's overwhelming power and speed. During in-view training, Coco and Sunny gradually synchronized through their BB bullet training, as if their cells were connecting. After the consciousness of 60 trillion plus 60 trillion, or 120 trillion cells, was completely unified, the power of in-view would double. If the four Heavenly Kings' consciousness could be completely unified, their success rate in dancing in-view with the Monkey King would significantly increase. As long as the 120 trillion cells in the four Heavenly Kings' bodies could maintain conscious unity for a long time, they would be able to complete the in-view dance in the murals. While they were dance battling, Kaka was still there, radiating a gloomy aura. Seeing the melted poisonous doll, he was so furious that his mouth split open. Where's the original body? That state definitely prevents movement. He suddenly remembered, I haven't seen that penguin in a long time. And at this moment, Electric Shark disappeared with a laugh in self-destruct mode. 100 times gravity instantly struck, shaking the ground and forming a giant pit. The car roof crashed down rapidly, crushing the poisonous doll. Kaka roared in anger. He propped up the car roof, broke through it, and climbed out. At this moment, he was completely blackened. He angrily emerged from the dust. These guys are waiting to die. And his movements had already alerted Terry, Kiss, and Queen, the protectors. These three treasures quickly surrounded Kaka, who was radiating immense power. Kaka felt he had to question them. Hey, you guys look like you know something. If you get in my way, I'll eat you. Kaka's drool flowed incessantly, dripping down. Sensing his killing intent, the three small pets also took up battle stances. If this four Heavenly Kings dance sequence were animated, it would undoubtedly be a masterpiece. With adorable expressions and magnificent yet domineering dance moves, it would surely become a shining star. Zebra, forced to perform, would definitely be a highlight. He wildly danced to the Monkey King's rhythm from memory. Although it was only 10 seconds, with the movements of 1,000 paintings, it seemed incredibly long and complex. Within it, missing paintings and vanished murals were restored by Coco using electromagnetic waves. He even predicted the Monkey King's movements from the dance's footwork, striving to synchronize with the Monkey King's rhythm. Everyone was very satisfied with their performance. At least the plan was going very smoothly so far. Pear continuously hummed like good news, emitting joyful chimes to the dance's rhythm. Simultaneously, Pear's aroma swirled up. The four Heavenly Kings danced with the Monkey King, bathing in Pear's vital energy. It was as if the entire earth rotated and revolved just for this moment. This was about experiencing the feeling of being king alongside the Monkey King. Roughly, they danced to a state of selflessness, feeling the sense of invincibility under heaven when standing above all others. And the gourmet demon cells also immersed themselves in it, as if they had experienced this feeling somewhere before. The Monkey King was lost in the dance, his eyes blurred with tears. At this moment, his emotions were mixed. It seemed he hoped this dance could last forever. But this in-view dance, without anyone noticing, had less than 1 second left. The Monkey King was so engrossed, and the process was very smooth. Just a little more, just one last bit, to give the Monkey King the greatest satisfaction. At this point, the four Heavenly Kings' tension reached its peak. Out of nearly 1,000 murals in total, a few were missing. Although Coco had restored some by intuition and had perfectly completed these dance moves with the Monkey King, there was still one blank mural. This mural was definitely not missing due to erosion from wind and rain. It simply didn't exist. Perhaps it had been taken away very early. Therefore, Coco couldn't obtain any electromagnetic waves from this mural. The content of this final mural could only be improvised based on the Monkey King's movements. Once they failed here, everything would end. For that reason, the four Heavenly King cells now exerted their strongest concentration of the day. After performing the last familiar movement, the four Heavenly Kings all stared intently at the Monkey King, eager to see his next move. Bambina turned his head and smiled, his eyes filled with an unspoken ambiguity. Although holding their breath, no matter what, they had to know what the final step should be. They couldn't let all their efforts go to waste. But the Monkey King's cryptic smile gave them a very bad feeling. And at that moment, the Monkey King stopped moving. The four Heavenly Kings were stunned. What now? How do we dance the next step? Is he not dancing anymore? Did we fail? The four Heavenly Kings were baffled. But they saw the Monkey King acting like he was going crazy, opening his mouth full of sharp teeth and lunging at them. The Monkey King's drool splattered everywhere. This posture was exactly like the ferocious demons they had encountered before, wanting to devour people alive. The four heavenly kings were utterly terrified. It's over. The strategy failed. The Monkey King was now unusually excited, charging straight at them. The four heavenly kings dodged a few times, almost getting hit. The Monkey King had completely lost his mind. He charged straight at them. The four heavenly kings quickly dodged, causing him to crash to the ground. What's wrong with him? Is he angry? Because the dance isn't over? The four heavenly kings didn't understand. Just because the dance isn't over, he's angry and wants to eat us? We were so busy dancing that we forgot this guy is the biggest problem child among the 8 kings. What do we do now? Prepare to swing our fists? Let's fight. Zebra always thought, why bother using your brain for things that can be solved with brute force? It should have been like this from the beginning, directly using brute force to pull the Monkey King's balls down. Isn't this easier than racking your brains to guess the Monkey King's thoughts? You guys cover your ears tightly. As soon as he finished speaking, Zebra started his supersonic blast. The sound exploded in the hair dome, almost blowing up the entire space. But the Monkey King still maintained his interest. Seeing that this move didn't work, he immediately gathered his fists. All four rushed forward simultaneously. To the Monkey King, this was a feeling of being favored. The four shouted in unison, if you want to eat so much, then taste our ultimate move. The four heavenly kings' 240 trillion ultimate technique. Fists gathered from all four limbs, gradually merging, transforming into a gigantic fist. Didn't expect that, right? We said combining is truly combining. The four swung their gigantic fist together, striking directly at the Monkey King. This is the nail punch of the four heavenly kings' Enbu. The heavy fist landed on the Monkey King's chest. He endured the impact of four people's power, suddenly spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood. But the Monkey King is the Monkey King after all, he's had many fights, so this punch was just a minor skirmish. Even after being hit hard, the Monkey King still looked unsatisfied. He grabbed the giant arm. The four heavenly kings never expected that a punch combining the power of four people would have no effect on him. Moreover, the Monkey King was now holding their hands and opening his mouth wide, seemingly wanting to swallow all four of them. The Monkey King's strength was extraordinary, a casual swing could create a giant vortex. Zebra cursed, bastard. The four heavenly kings' 240 trillion Enbu ultrasonic wave sound cutter. This move was incredibly powerful, directly tearing a hole in Sunny's hair dome. Facing the attack, the Monkey King roared. Apart from his usual madness, he seemed completely unharmed. Zebra was astonished. What? Not even a scratch? Coco pulled out his poison gun and told everyone to attack him together. Let him taste the four heavenly kings' poisonous gas bomb of Enbu. However, the Monkey King continued to grin, his flexible and light body deftly dodging all the walls. Coco felt as if struck by lightning. How strong is this Monkey King? After all? My attacks are almost light speed, yet he can easily dodge them? Whether individually or combined, they couldn't harm him in the slightest. The Monkey King, with his drooling mouth, charged forward again. He roared as if celebrating victory. For his impending explosive attack, the four heavenly kings had prepared Sound Wall, Fork Shield, and Super Flail. But these techniques were insignificant in front of the Monkey King. He attacked the four heavenly kings, and they could only dodge. Moreover, the Monkey King's attack speed was too fast, they couldn't fully dissipate all the force. Zebra told everyone to maintain their Enbu state. Even if they couldn't completely neutralize this beast's attack, they could significantly reduce the damage taken. Toriko said that now they only needed to focus on getting the balls. The balls were the key. Toriko, taking advantage of his inattention, once again reached for the balls. The moment he grasped the balls, his arm exploded into smithereens. Fortunately, this was a poisonous doll that Coco hastily made. If I had gone myself, I might not even be able to use my full power. The poisonous humanoid was not only used for frontal attacks but also to attract the Monkey King's attention, allowing the four of them to attack him from behind earlier. The moment they touched the balls, the four were both tense and excited. Got the balls. Good, pull him down quickly. However, the four tried their best but couldn't pull it off. The balls remained motionless, without even a hint of sensation. All four were stunned. We put in so much effort to touch Pear, but we can't get it down. What should we do? How exactly can we pluck the Monkey King's balls? Although they were on the verge of breaking down, the balls were like giant eggs growing from the earth, they couldn't do anything to him. No matter how you look at it, even brute force can't capture Pear. The Monkey King swung his arm, embraced the four of them, spun his head, and bit fiercely. The stiff arms of all four were torn apart, blood gushing out. Toriko launched a fork rocket, but the Monkey King didn't even have a scratch. Toriko's side was in trouble. Because of the excessive movements and intense emotions, the Enbu dance was disrupted. They were about to face 100 times gravity. Toriko, who was leaping into the air to attack the Monkey King, suddenly fell to the ground due to the sudden 100 times gravity. But the Monkey King grabbed him. His body deformed as gravity pulled his leg. Isn't this the long legs that all girls love? Toriko was pulled hard, his entire body felt like it was about to be torn apart by gravity. And the Monkey King bit a piece of his leg. Toriko cried out in pain, "Go!" Zebra roared, "I can't stand you anymore, you bastard. Enbu, death full course. Since we've decided to fight, let's all go at him." Sunny unleashed his demon hair, rushing to bite and tear at the Monkey King. The enraged Monkey King suddenly stood up, interrupting all incoming attacks. Sunny was sent flying by the shockwave. Moreover, this attack from the Monkey King easily shattered the hair dome woven from multiple layers of super flail. As Sunny was stunned, the Monkey King silently approached, grabbed his demon hair, and bit it. Is he starving? He bites everything he sees. Without waiting for Sunny to act, Coco told the poisonous demon to give the Monkey King a flask of poison. The Monkey King raged, slamming the ground violently, causing the sky and earth to change, mountains to collapse, and the ground to crack. Those who had lost their Enbu's effectiveness, along with the shattered mountainside, fell straight deeper underground. Under 100 times gravity, they naturally couldn't move. Is this truly the end? However, the Monkey King still refused to let Toriko go. He tightly grasped Toriko's leg and fell with them. Bambina, do you really want to eat us that much? After the chaos, although they were surprised to find themselves still alive, they didn't know where they were. They were still somewhere like the halfway point of 100G Mountain. No matter where they were, they had to reorganize their Enbu first. But they found themselves in a familiar state of dehydration. Toriko's eyes, nose, and mouth were all leaking water. Sunny was about to ask for an explanation, but then realized that he and Coco were in the same situation. Could it be Sandorico? They immediately looked up and saw a large patch of wild Sandorico. They had luckily survived the Monkey King's punches and 100 times gravity, but unexpectedly fell right into the Sandorico flower patch. Pollen was about to erupt. And the Monkey King also strode towards them. Affected by Sandorico, his face was also covered in water. But it was clear that he wasn't worried about this flower at all. Instead, he walked straight towards the four of them. They wanted to reorganize their Enbu, even if it was just to eliminate a little pollen and the effects of gravity. But it was too late. The Monkey King lifted the four of them. Because the water in their bodies was constantly gushing out, their stamina was rapidly depleted. Although unwilling, they were completely unable to exert any force. The Monkey King opened his mouth wide. Is this the end? The water in Toriko's body was almost completely drained, blurring his vision. But he wasn't resigned. Since I'm going to be eaten anyway, why don't I taste you first? Toriko bit the Monkey King's extended tongue. The Monkey King's eyes widened like brass bells. Finally, he saw the lover he had longed for day and night. Toriko bit his tongue firmly, refusing to let go, and then saw Komatsu with a horrified expression right before his eyes. That's Komatsu. No mistake. The Monkey King was moved to tears, and his tears and balls fell simultaneously. So Pear has been successfully captured? Toriko couldn't believe he saw Komatsu here. And he was shouting something. Toriko didn't hear it clearly at first, but they all realized, the balls have fallen. The Monkey King's balls actually fell off like that? But the dance isn't over yet? At this moment, the Monkey King was crying happily. At this moment, the four Heavenly Kings' minds were filled with questions. Why? Could it be that those chaotic, exaggerated battles actually satisfied the Monkey King? No way. Who would be beaten and still look so enraptured? Is he a masochist? Moreover, there should have been two balls, and one had disappeared. While frantically searching for the other ball, they heard Komatsu shouting, "Toriko-san! Quick, catch it! There's another one here. Yours and mine must be caught at the same time." Toriko had no time to be shocked. He quickly followed Komatsu's instructions and caught the ball. The moment he touched the ball, its outer skin cracked. Komatsu hurriedly told Toriko to combine the two pairs. Because the moment Pear fell, one of them would disappear into the inner world. The pair from your world and the pair from my world were originally one. Now let them merge into one. This is the true method of capturing Pear. Well, in short, this thing is complicated in theory, but not difficult to operate. Toriko and Komatsu simultaneously approached each other, then the two balls merged. After a world-shaking, earth-shattering upheaval, the true pair appeared. The moment Pear combined, strong winds swirled around, and powerful energy fields surged. A moment later, the dust settled. The peerless treasure pair was successfully completed. Everyone was so amazed by the Monkey King's pair that they were speechless. Komatsu, however, said mournfully, "That's great. Even at the brink of death, I can still do my humble part. Toriko-san. Coco-san. Sunny-san. Zebra-san. Everyone came here for me, getting bruised all over. Thank you so much. Being able to come here with everyone, I am truly so happy. Komatsu's eyes shone with golden light. He showed a gentle smile. Farewell, everyone. Farewell, Toriko-san. Toriko hurriedly asked, what are you saying? Komatsu gently floated up, Toriko-san. I want to hold your hand one more time. The hand that can defeat all ferocious beasts, that dares to defy the 8 kings. That strong hand of Toriko-san. Komatsu softly whimpered, his voice gradually fading. Toriko anxiously reached out, trying to grasp Komatsu's figure. At this moment, Yun also rushed over. Toriko had no time to adjust his emotions. Although as soon as he saw Yun, he eagerly followed. Previously, they had told Yun to wait at the foot of 100G mountain. But Yun looked anxious. It seemed something had really happened to Komatsu. They opened Yun's door, and all 4 squeezed into the narrow space. Komatsu's condition is very bad now, but there are no more artificial organs or replacement medicine. We can only feed him pear for now. While the 4 were frantically taking care of Komatsu, the Black and Kaka caught up. I didn't expect that penguin to be a camp monster equipped with a high-level shelter. He questioned Toriko and the group, when did you suspect me? Oh my. This is the first time I've seen such a wonderful pear. It's truly a world apart from other pears. Those wild Sandoriko have stopped releasing pollen. This proves that they have received enough nutrition to fill their stomachs with just the soup. Thanks to that, I was able to find this place. But that penguin too. Quick, hand over that kid to me. There's still time. I'll take pear as well. You guys can die now. Facing Kaka's interrogation, Coco calmly retorted, it's not about when I started suspecting you, I found you fishy from the start. As for who you really are and what your purpose is, there's no time to ask now. Besides, we're not interested at all. It's best you don't come here anymore, because this is the Monkey King's party stage. I advise you not to disturb him. Kaka's face darkened, Monkey King? What kind of trash is that? He strode forward ominously, his mouth gradually splitting open. Unexpectedly, the Monkey King suddenly turned his head and gave him a radiantly bizarre smile. You want to dance with me too? Kaka's mouth split wide open, revealing a full set of sharp teeth. The Monkey King's pupils constricted. With a king of the world posture, he showed contempt for the ignorant Kaka. With no intention of backing down, the Monkey King was truly enraged this time. His tail muscles bulged, erupting with energy, then he whipped it powerfully. Almost blown away, Kaka used all his strength to cling tightly to the thick, strong tail. Noticing he was still behind, the Monkey King grinned from ear to ear. Then he opened his mouth and fired a cannonball at him. The super-strong shockwave directly shattered him. The entire land was stripped bare. After finishing, the Monkey King looked at his destroyed tail and revealed a mischievous smile. What a badass monkey. He doesn't even go easy on himself, the 4 heavenly kings thought to themselves. Although they knew early on that the Monkey King wasn't even trying when facing them, defeating Nitro in 2 moves was truly too shocking, leaving them with no choice but to be utterly convinced. This was the true strength of the Monkey King. At the same time, besides the roar of the Monkey King's power, there was a sound so faint it was imperceptible, the sound of a lifeline snapping. Toriko was too engrossed in watching the drama, almost forgetting about Komatsu. Is it too late? At this moment, the 100G mountain range once again began to collapse on a large scale under the Monkey King's attack. It's too late. Yun. Let us in. The 4 heavenly kings once again squeezed into Yun's cramped space. Despite their panic, Coco discovered that Komatsu had died. Sunny didn't give up and gave him pear to drink. But even though pear flowed into Komatsu's mouth, the chest under his bandages was still empty. Could it be that's not how you use it? Coco's voice trembled with tension. Toriko was speechless. Komatsu's electromagnetic waves had. Toriko's emotions surged, and he shouted incessantly, Komatsu! Open your eyes. Do you really want to say goodbye to me forever? Remembering the dreamlike scene from just before, Toriko couldn't hold back anymore. He wanted to grab Komatsu's hand, frantically shouting, Komatsu! Come back! Sunny, Zebra, and Coco also desperately shouted, hoping to wake Komatsu up. Suddenly, Komatsu's body emitted a bright light, the source of which was his chest. At this point, Komatsu's body had drunk the pear, and pear gushed out from the hole in his chest. And at that moment, the 4 heavenly kings seemed to travel through time again. Arriving in that world. The familiar scene filled them with doubt. Toriko noticed a heart floating in mid-air, beating thump-thump. Coco said he had seen the electromagnetic waves of this heart many times before. Sunny said he knew whose it was. Not a shred of beauty. Zebra narrowed his gaze, staring intently at this powerfully beating heart. Absolutely no mistake. This is Komatsu's heart. The 3 of them simultaneously grabbed at the heart, but missed. Toriko reached his hand towards Komatsu's chest. The entrance is here. Komatsu was grabbing my finger, guiding me in. Toriko slowly approached Komatsu's heart. He felt a warm, real touch. The thumping heart beat against his palm. He slowly placed the heart into Komatsu's chest, and in an instant, a dazzling light burst forth. And that terrifying hole was gradually healing. Seeing the hole being filled, the four heavenly kings were all moved to tears. Although they themselves were already crying non-stop because of Toriko. After having his heart replaced, Komatsu's hole gradually filled, and his whole body came back to life. The cells continuously plumped up, and blood flowed unobstructed. He's really alive again. The dazzling light made it impossible for Toriko and the group to open their eyes. When he came to, the sunlight had disappeared, and Komatsu's stomach let out a rumbling sound. He scratched his head in embarrassment. Oh, I'm hungry. Even though a large scar remained on Komatsu's chest, it didn't matter. As long as he was back, that was all that mattered. Everyone looked at Komatsu with overwhelming joy, tears and snot mixing together, looking somewhat frightening. After experiencing life and death, this friendship became even deeper and more precious. Seeing the four of them with tears streaming down their faces, Komatsu also had tears welling up on the spot. Then the five of them sat together and cried like a river. Komatsu's tears flowed like a spring. Looking at the four of them covered in injuries, he was speechless, both heartbroken and moved. Komatsu greeted everyone one by one, and when it came to Toriko, he hugged him and cried. Treating a partner is different, after all. After a bout of excited crying, Toriko composed himself slightly and said in a deep voice, Komatsu, I really thought you were dead. Komatsu, with teary eyes, sobbed uncontrollably, actually. I really was dead for a moment. He took out a small object, already shattered, but it was still possible to see that it was originally a bead. I don't know what this is. Who on earth put it in my chest? It broke, and because of that, I was saved. Toriko remembered, that's the amulet Mappy gave me when we left the 8th continent. When we were climbing the 100G mountain, when I entrusted Komatsu to Yun, I secretly left this amulet on him. But he also didn't know what was inside. Komatsu was also curious, what on earth is this? It looks like some kind of round bead. In short, I was saved thanks to this bead. Toriko nodded, it's true, Mappy's amulet saved him. But it doesn't matter what it is, what matters is that you're alive. Koko said, at that time, Komatsu's electromagnetic waves had completely disappeared. Toriko asked, so, at that time, Komatsu's farewell was real? Hearing the word farewell, Komatsu's tears couldn't be stopped again. When he was in a coma, he vaguely remembered everything. Even when he had completely lost consciousness, he still remembered tightly holding Toriko's hand. The more Komatsu spoke, the more emotional he became, his face like a pear blossom drenched in rain. Toriko said he was crying too much. Komatsu retorted, aren't you crying too? Aren't Sunny, Koko, and Zebra all crying nonstop? Even though Zebra's tears were flowing, he maintained a calm and indifferent demeanor, idiot. I'm not crying at all. Komatsu wailed, you're already crying a river, and you're still being stubborn. I never thought Zebra-san had such a gentle and sensitive side. Zebra raised his voice, oh. What you see is just the surface. It's all because of that thing's pollen. Knowing that Toriko was a killer flower and its pollen would cause creatures to have runny noses and watery eyes, Komatsu's first reaction wasn't fear, but this flower is a cooking ingredient. Eating it will definitely stop the symptoms. Huh? Why didn't you say something so important earlier? I can't believe the solution is the same as for the stinky durian bomb. Now I'm not afraid of this thing anymore. But if Komatsu hadn't keenly realized this was an ingredient, I'm afraid no one would have thought this thing could be eaten and would have died from dehydration. The killer flower itself was the antidote for its pollen, and it tasted incredibly delicious. The four of them vied to praise Komatsu. Komatsu said that after coming back to life, his ability to listen to the voice of ingredients seemed to have improved. When he was in a coma, he had heard the voices of many ingredients. Although he couldn't be sure if they were the real voices of the ingredients, he felt that Pear's voice was among them. Komatsu sat next to Pear, staring intently at this round, shiny water-like sphere. When there was no specific antidote, the mortality rate of Toriko pollen was 100%. Therefore, the reason they could endure until now was thanks to Pear, which helped them retain the water in their bodies. Koko praised, he obviously didn't drink it directly, but he used sound, smell, and touch to provide a huge amount of nutrients. Komatsu believed that when he died, the thing that saved his life was Mappy's amulet. But he was able to recover so quickly all thanks to Pear. Toriko thought, if it weren't for Pear, I'm afraid we would have long been ghosts under the Monkey King's hand, or the next victims of Toriko pollen. At this point, they realized they had always been saved by ingredients. What Koko found strange was why Pear had suddenly fallen from the Monkey King's nether regions. At this point, they realized they had always been saved by ingredients. What Koko found strange was why Pear had suddenly fallen from the Monkey King's nether regions. Moreover, at this time, the Monkey King had also disappeared without a trace. Where on earth did he go? While they were confused about the Monkey King's whereabouts, the ground suddenly shook. The collapsing areas became more and more numerous. It seemed the whole mountain was collapsing. The entire mountain collapsed. However, everyone felt a terrifying suction force. Looking towards the ruins, they saw a stone house, like a mushroom, round and cute. But in this desolate mountain, seeing such a strange house appear, it was hard not to feel creeped out. And this massive earthquake was clearly related to this house. Coco was the first to notice the Monkey King inside the house and the exquisitely polished coffin. Toriko and the group couldn't see, so Coco described the situation inside the house in detail for them. That's probably the house where the Monkey King once lived with his lover. It's definitely a tomb. The person sleeping in that coffin is probably the Monkey King's lover. The place where that house was built was unimaginable, with an extremely strong gravitational pull. Moreover, near that house seemed to be the center of gravity for this mountain. He placed the coffin here, perhaps so that his deceased lover, even in the afterlife, wouldn't have to worry about food. Over a long period of time, countless creatures were attracted here, thus forming the gigantic 100G mountain range. Komatsu understood, in short, so this whole mountain is the lover's tomb. Then the 4 heavenly kings and the Monkey King have been dancing on a grave all this time. And Coco also noticed a portrait in the center of that house. It seems their guess was not wrong. The Inbu dance really was for dancing. And they had also completed all the movements smoothly. At the end of the dance, the Monkey King made a gesture as if to swallow them, but in reality, he just wanted to kiss them. It was just that his image was a bit rough. In the end, Toriko accidentally completed this movement, thus successfully capturing pair. Speaking of which, from the Monkey King's perspective, do you feel the Monkey King was a bit wronged? He clearly just wanted a kiss, but was beaten up by 4 muscular men. Fortunately, their power was not enough. That little bit of damage was just a small skirmish for him. But if it was just insufficient power, it can also be seen that the Monkey King has a pretty good temper. If it were ordinary big shots, they probably would have started a fight directly if they were displeased. But the Monkey King still persistently pursued them, sincerely wanting a kiss. Or in other words, for the Monkey King who was immersed in missing his lover, the battle of Toriko and the group was just flirting. But in any case, the mission was finally successfully completed. Komatsu's fully healed, and the 4 heavenly kings are grinning from ear to ear. But they almost forgot about the electric shark being pummeled by Kaka. Terry sniffed the air, pinpointed the direction, and then signaled to Queen and Kiss, who were following behind. These 3 darlings dashed like the wind, all grabbing onto the sinking electric shark. The electric shark was on its last legs at this point. Terry, Kiss, and Queen had long been prepared for a bloody battle with the Blue Nitro. Previously, Kaka had pulled out something. It looked like a clump of hair, or maybe skin, but it possessed endless power. The 3 beasts were intimidated into not daring to move a muscle. In the end, they could only watch helplessly as the Blue Nitro departed. They didn't even know how long it took for the trembling to stop. But Terry and his companions didn't give up in despair. On the contrary, they made a bold decision. Even though it was such a powerful and distorted monster, even though they might face unpredictable, brutal horror, and even though they didn't even know what part of what creature it was, they decided that they would go their own way and grow on this continent, separating from Komatsu, Toriko, and the others. When Toriko and his group descended the mountain, they saw the electric shark that had been rescued by Terry and his companions. The electric shark's condition was very bad. Bruised all over, looking like it was about to kick the bucket. Komatsu learned from Toriko and the group that this fellow was actually a great benefactor. Without him, they wouldn't have been able to get here. It's just that he was quite severely injured now. But Komatsu thanked Sunny, and after being given some pear, he took out his melt kitchen knife and, using pear combined with a secret technique, easily revived the electric shark. The electric shark was instantly revived, excitedly squawking. Sunny was astonished. Komatsu, you can even use this secret skill? Komatsu smiled sheepishly. Oh, the secret technique was from the cooking festival. I just learned it on the fly because I wanted to show off to Toriko, haha. Sunny was skeptical. Is that a skill you can just learn on the fly? Coco said, Komatsu's kitchen knife was made by the 2nd generation milk using the teeth of the Dragon King Diraus. Could it be that the Dragon King's teeth also have regenerative abilities? Sunny, being both sharp and meticulous, knew that a healer was essential for the journey. Dying and coming back to life was a daily occurrence for their team. How could they not have a medic? Komatsu said that his secret technique only worked smoothly the first time he used it on Toriko. Probably because I was really going all out at that time. After that, he couldn't use it anymore. Just now was also mostly thanks to Pear's nutrition. Toriko, who hadn't said anything until now, finally spoke up. That's enough. Komatsu turned his head upon hearing this, but was scared out of his wits by Toriko. My goodness. Where's your arm? What happened to your arm? Coco was even more astonished. You're only just now noticing? Toriko said he had also forgotten when it happened. Anyway, it was ripped off by the Monkey King. But Komatsu, hurry up and use your secret technique. With a secret technique, won't my arm grow back? Komatsu said regretfully, that won't work. This isn't a technique that can regrow arms. Sunny said seriously, I've already helped retrieve Toriko's arm. You guys don't need to worry. I'll take it out for you later. But now he was more curious, who on earth transported the electric shark to the foot of 100G mountain? Even the tail cargo rack holding 10 tons of supplies was brought here. Toriko knew it was Terry and his companions. Their scent is still on it. It seems they left it intentionally. Hearing that Queen and the others were okay, Sunny was overjoyed. Komatsu also quickly asked where they had gone. But Coco and Toriko both sensed that Terry, Kiss, and Queen had intentionally separated from them. Anyway, they had no intention of descending the mountain together. Zebra muttered something, why bother with them? If they're scared of that lizard, then that's all they amount to. Compared to that, hurry up and drink pear. Toriko's focus, however, was on, how are we going to get down from the Spirit Mountain range? The electric shark has just been healed, it definitely can't run fast. Plus, the effects of its self-destruct mode are still lingering. And Yun's safe house is too cramped, that won't work. We can only go down the mountain on our own. Toriko said this as if it were easy, but doing it was hard. Putting the few of them aside, what about Komatsu? Sunny was a bit worried, how many days will that take? Besides, is Air's inventory enough? If we run out halfway, we'll definitely die. As they were talking, a horde of monkeys came again, shouting and yelling. They waved their hands and feet, partying wildly. They must have been intentionally waiting for Toriko and the group to come down the mountain. Toriko pulled Komatsu over, come here, let me introduce you. They are. Komatsu was speechless. I'm not feeling well, but I can still recognize apes. Toriko added, they're shouting like that, it's probably their names. Toriko looked at the monkey horde, we've received quite a bit of care from them. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to master Enbu. So how exactly are you guys planning to get down the mountain? As soon as he said this, all the apes fell silent. It seems they have no way either. Sunny collapsed and roasted them as usual. In hindsight, there's no camping monster that can seat so many people. Ah! There's even a master-level ape inside. At this moment, a strange black smoke billowed over. Is this a cloud? No, could it be a living creature? This is too terrifying. It has legs. Run! The 5 of them hurriedly retreated. But the monkey horde was as happy as can be. Coco was astonished, could this be the camping monster that the apes of the continent ride? It's just that this image makes it hard to associate it with a mode of transportation. Toriko intended to use a skill to probe it out. Oh! There's really such a thing. Terrifying. It's really a camping monster. Now I can rest assured. But to put it bluntly, this thing is just poop. There was a rumor that it was the Monkey King's poop. Or is it cloud-shaped poop? Komatsu's introduction made people's confidence dwindle the more they listened. Toriko shrieked in horror, is it the poop I'm thinking of? Coco felt, monkeys riding clouds? It feels quite natural. But I never thought it would be poop. Why does it feel like a dirty joke? But as long as we ride this, we can get back to the ground. So even if this cloud is dirty and smelly, we can't miss it. Everyone climbed onto the Poop Nimbus, and looking back, they discovered the 100G mountain range had begun to regenerate. What a nutrient-rich, wild place. Toriko and the group exclaimed again, there's no doubt, this mountain has made us tens of times stronger. Thank you. After thanking the 100G mountain range, the Poop Nimbus officially took off. Toriko and the group headed straight for the origin tree at the foot of the mountain. Although this Poop Nimbus was super smelly, its taste could only be described as overpowering, but its speed was quite fast. The intelligent Coco thought of another problem, speaking of which, the Poop Nimbus that the apes of the continent ride. They should have ridden it back when they all fled. So where did this Poop Nimbus come from? Coco thought until his hair stood on end, could it be, this is fresh? And at the place where the Poop Nimbus originated, the Monkey King was spreading his cheeks and pooping comfortably. This maneuver could be described as reasonable, understanding, and optimistic in helping others. Toriko and the group had fulfilled his wish, so it was only fair that he gifted them the Poop Nimbus in return. Bambina waved at them, and even added a radiant smile, say no more. It's fresh and warm. Because of the Poop Nimbus, Toriko and the group quickly arrived at the origin tree. And here, it was already crowded with cheering apes. Almost all the apes on the continent were here. They cheered and danced, just waiting for Toriko and the group to start the feast. And up in the tree, the real Kaka was revealing a gentle smile, finally, we can eat pear. Toriko had long been impatient. The cells in his body were even more excited. Sunny used the Demon King's vomit to retrieve the preserved right arm. Toriko felt his right arm and shoulder retracting each other like two magnets. Both sides really want to combine. With just a light touch, the tissues on both sides intertwine tightly. Plus Komatsu's secret technique, Toriko's right arm was completely healed in a matter of minutes. Toriko was now full of vigor, wishing he could drink dozens of bowls of pear in one go. But Coco was holding a filter, slowly waiting for pear to drip. Not a single drop in half a day. Do we have to wait until the year of the monkey and the month of the horse to get enough for one person? Not to mention the 5 billion apes gathered behind. And Kaka walked over, saying that pear needed to go through a natural dripping process to accumulate one portion, about 180 grams, which takes nearly 2 hours. If it's for 5 billion apes, it would take 1,141,550 years. In reality, the number of giant apes is a bit large, so multiplying by 200 is most appropriate. By that calculation, it would take more than 200 million years. Among all of you here, how many can wait that many years? Seeing Kaka, everyone became vigilant. The hot-tempered zebra instantly vanished and attacked. Damn it! You're still alive. However, his arm passed straight through Kaka's body. No matter what, I can't hit him. Komatsu called Zebra back. Stop fighting. That person is on our side. With Komatsu's words, the 4 heavenly kings began to carefully observe this Kaka. Could it be that this Kaka is different from that Kaka? So, the one in front of us is the real deal Kaka? Komatsu confirmed, that's right. Although I have almost no memory of being in a coma, I remember this very clearly. In the chaotic world, the person who told me how to capture pear was this Kaka right here. Kaka didn't wait for them to be surprised. Next, I will teach you the true cooking method for pear. But before that, I think it's necessary to explain my current state in countless situations. To explain everything, it would take about an hour and a half. Toriko was a bit troubled, and said awkwardly, Kaka-san, could you tell us the cooking method for pear first? As concise as possible. Kaka naturally knew what Toriko was thinking, but this cooking method is not simple. To extract the soup from the pear sphere, you first need to prepare a large metal pot. Then stir for 5 hours. Then air dry for 10 hours. Then beat it for 25 hours. After that, you have to stare at it for a whole day. And you can't even blink. Then continue to cook for a week. Then air dry again. Before Kaka could finish, Toriko interrupted again. Wait. Why is it so troublesome? Kaka felt, this is a food treasure, so having many steps isn't it natural? Toriko's head was about to explode. That's what you say, but I really can't wait to eat it. Komatsu noticed a small hole on the pear sphere. Kaka was also confused. It shouldn't be. A complete pear shouldn't have a hole. Komatsu tentatively poked it with a kitchen knife, and then pear gushed out like a spring. This one poke saved at least a month's time. Everyone found it hard to believe. You said it was so complicated, but isn't it just gushing out now? But whether they believed it or not didn't matter anymore. Quick, find a container. We can't waste it. Kaka was extremely amazed. The shortest time for pear is 1 month. But now it was successful with just a light poke. Unbelievable. Komatsu. Could it be that it confided in Komatsu? And Komatsu also heard its voice? This is a cooking method that even a certain sage doesn't know. Kaka was still confused, but Toriko, holding a bowl, shouted at him, don't be confused. Let's go drink pear. The video ends here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments to support the channel. New anime series will be uploaded regularly on 21st Century Anime. Thank you.